Saying, yep. You already know what it is. Southpaw Talk with Southpaw Slick. And today's video is going to be based on a question that I got from one of my female Instagram followers. And the question was, can women have both a career and family? Now, she said that she's currently in school to become a marine biologist, which is pretty cool, by the way. I said, salute. Pretty cool, by the way. But the reason she asked me this question is because recently her and some of her classmates have talked about it a few times at lunch. And she said that a good bit of them are they're so career focused that family doesn't even come to mind. Whereas she herself wants to have both, right? Now, this is a good question, right? Because you hear it a lot, especially in not only just the manosphere, I'll say society in general. Like women are expected to only be a wife and a mother. Look at the flack that Ashanti has been getting lately. Like I brought up in a video recently. That's just the way it is, right? It's like society, both men and women believe that a woman has to make a choice. Either it's your career first or is it family first? You can't have both, right? Now, do I believe that? The answer is no. I don't believe that. I think a woman can have both. I do think a woman can have both, but I'm actually gonna elaborate as the video progresses why people look at it differently from my perspective. You know what I mean? Perfect example of what I'm talking about. Look at somebody like Beyonce, right? She has a successful music career. She was able to marry a man who's even higher than she is, and she was able to have children, right? Now, some people will be like, well, that's kind of unrealistic, because she's Beyonce and, only so many people become a musician, especially on that level. So I get you. I get you on that. All right, let's be a little bit more realistic then. Somebody like Michelle Obama, right? Perfect one. She was able to go to school, law school at that, and she found her husband at a law firm. So she got married and she was able to have children. So she was able to have both. She was able to have both. Now, I know some people are going to be like, these are two extremes, but they're really not. Maybe the Beyonce one, but not the Michelle Obama one. I said, if you're diligent enough, you can be just like Michelle Obama. Not necessarily in the same career, but in a successful career nonetheless, and have the husband and the kids. You can have that. You can have that. But the main problem that I see, at least the women that do pursue secondary education and then subsequently, end up in their career that they qualify for, right? They always prioritize their career first. They prioritize school first before that, which is perfectly fine. But once you're established, then that's when you should be able to go out there and look for a suitable mate and start a family. I said, but what I notice is a lot of women that are in school or have graduated from school, that becomes an afterthought. You want the children and the husband way after the fact. When you're damn near pushing 40, you know what I mean? Like I said, you already wasted your prime years. Well, I don't want to say wasted because at least you were, using that time to better yourself. So I'm not going to say wasted, but your prime years, they were used to move up the career ladder, right? That's perfectly fine. Now, for the women that do want to have both, My advice is to do it early on, especially somebody like Michelle Obama. If you're going to law school, that can take what? I'm saying first go to college or university, then go to law school. That can be like 8 to 12 years, right? Of your life right there. So your best bet is to go into college or university right after you get out of high school. Like don't be sitting on it for a few years, like maybe not. If you're certain that you want to be a lawyer, go out there and be that. So by the time you graduate from law school and establish yourself in your career, then you'll still be young enough to get a good husband and have a family. Now, some women, they don't want to do that. Some women, they don't want to do that. I think women convince themselves that they can't have both, along with society pushing that mindset. Like I said, it's like women are just supposed to be barefoot and pregnant, just stuck in the kitchen, just relegated to the house. I'm saying you fought for equal rights, use them. Use them. Same thing with society. Make up your mind. Do you want to be a egalitarian, or do you want to be a gender rollist? That's why I said people want to be traditional when it's convenient and modern when it's convenient. Women in particular. But I'm saying, but also men who are still delusional, or they're chauvinistic, like, oh, we are better than women, type shit. I'm saying have that antiquated notion of what a man and a woman is supposed to be. But like I said, me, myself, I'm not a left-wing progressive. I'm not an SJW. However, I do believe that both men and women can have both if they choose to have both. But I said, but one thing with women that are goal-oriented or career-driven, don't let that become your identity solely. I noticed that women like that, that's what they lead with when they do start dating. Is what kind of bachelor's, master's, or PhD you have. How much your annual salary is. I said, having a degree, great. That's a plus. It's not a requirement. Moving up the career ladder, that's great. That's a plus, not a requirement. The amount of money that you make, that's great. But that's a plus, not a requirement. Those are things that men don't give a shit about. And I know you've heard that countless times, numerous times. I said, we don't care about that shit. We really don't. When it comes down to it, are you a good woman? First and foremost. Then, are you a good mate? Are you a good mother? Those are the things that matter the most. Like I said, you can have both, but don't prioritize your career so much that family ends up in the back burner or back pocket. That's what I'm saying. Like that's the thing or mistake a lot of goal-oriented women make. That's what I'm saying. You have to make that decision early on. Now, you yourself, you said you want to be a marine biologist, which is awesome. I think that's cool as shit. But I heard that's a hard field to get into. I mean, of course, the requirement, at least the minimal requirement, is to have a bachelor's. But you increase your chances if you have a master's and or PhD, right? So, like I said, that's up to you. Now, I didn't get your age, so I don't know like how old you are, but you definitely want to, graduate and establish yourself in that career field sooner or later before you start going out and looking for a future husband, if you will, and eventually a future family. But it is definitely possible. I'm not going to discourage women and say that you can't have both, but just be realistic about it. Be realistic about it. I'm saying keep your feminine, womanly ways. You know what I mean? But then again, considering the fact that the majority of people grow up in a single parent, single mother household in particular, as far as girls are concerned, Where do you learn to be a wife or a mom? I guess maybe the mom. I'm saying maybe the mom part of it, but not the wife part of it, since your mother was probably never married. Not saying you, but I'm just speaking in general. I'm saying your mother was probably never married. So how can you really learn how to be a wife if you have no example of one? Maybe that's why women don't know how to lead with that, and instead try to lead with their, academic accomplishments and their career. Like I said, it's just something that I was wondering about now that it crossed my mind. But I said, but that can apply to anything, like it doesn't have to necessarily be this. But since we're on this topic, yeah, how do you know how to be a wife or a mom? Like, really? Now, like I said, even with a single mom, you see your mother raising you, right? Okay, that's cool. Do you have a brother? No, I'm just wondering because how does your mom raise a boy to be a man? You can't do that, right? Now, some people will contest that, but ultimately, when it comes down to it, only a man can teach a man how to be a man. It doesn't even have to be the child's father in particular. It can be an uncle. It can be a cousin. It can be a teacher. Even though we don't have that many male teachers, I'm saying that's another reason why we need to have more male teachers. I'm saying for the children that don't have a positive male figure in the household or one they can go to freely. That's what I'm saying. So that there is another reason to have male teachers. Me, myself, I wanted to be a male teacher when I was younger until I got older, like middle school in particular. And I see like how the kids acted, fighting in class, talking back to the teacher, don't want to learn, like being disruptive. I'm like, man, I don't want to be bothered with this shit. And that made me like not want to be a teacher anymore. But I don't know. Sometimes I look back and be like, I wish I would have did it anyway. But another thing that also contributed to that is seeing how much teachers make. Like I said, teachers don't get paid as much as they should. That's one of the most undervalued, underappreciated career fields ever. I'm saying teachers are not only educators, but they're babysitters and bodyguards. Hey, I got off topic a little bit, but yeah, that's my answer. That's my answer. Women can have both. Just don't get so caught up in school and your career. Now, of course, you want to be focused. Be 100% focused. Don't be like one of these people that went to school, kind of got a little bit iffy, dropped out. That's what I'm saying. When you go to college, this is something that parents need to instill in their children before they even go to college or even think about going to college. Do you know what you want to go to college for? For one, indefinitely. Like, do you know what you want to go to college for? Two, do you have the discipline to finish? That's the most important one. Do you have the discipline to finish, the drive to finish? Not go to college just because I want to get away from my parents and, I want to like have a new scenery and meet some new people. I mean, that's great. But the main priority is finishing college. That's it. Just make sure you have that intact. But break's about to be over. Southpaw Slick. I'm out.